everyone, and welcome back to Allcarnews. And today I'm here with the glorious and absolutely wonderful Alfa Romeo Stelvio Quadrifoglio Verde. And this is a beautiful example here in this nice deep gray finish with the black Alfa Romeo wheels and those awesome circular pattern with the 5 holes there. And this SUV is an absolute monster, and I wanted to document and highlight this thing before it eventually goes away within probably the next 2 to 3 years. Now we do know there's a small facelift coming with a little bit of an updated headlight, which will make its way to the US later on, but this is pretty much the model you can buy and go out right now, 2023 model of the Stelvio Quadrifoglio. And essentially it is the top end version of the Alfa Romeo Stelvio if you're not familiar with the brand, and it's an actual monster of an SUV. It competes with things like the X3M if you're not familiar, as well as the GLC 63 AMG. And I can tell you one thing, this thing will set itself apart with its Ferrari engineered chassis, with its Ferrari derived engine under the hood, a raucous exhaust note, a fantastic steering and driving experience, and it looks really, really good as well. And let's talk about that looks department well. And when you do get a Quadrifoglio model from Alfa Romeo, there are only 2, the Giulia and the Stelvio. They are awesome looking things, but they're pretty mild compared to some other hardcore performance SUVs. So out back, for example, you're really only going to be getting this a little bit more of an aggressive lower diffuser area down here, and you're getting those quad tailpipes as well. So that's a pretty cool feature right there. And that's pretty much it back here. A little bit of an aggressive rear diffuser, like I said, those quad tailpipes, and a little bit of a restyled lower exhaust, but that's pretty much it. It's only when you start coming around to the side where you will notice a little bit more changes. Here you can notice the wider fender flares to fit the wider and stickier rubber. And of course, we have these really cool black wheels, the signature kind of Alfa Romeo circles going on around them, and these are a little bit thinner of spokes actually than your typical Alfa Romeo wheel to help reduce weight. You have an upgraded braking system as well on the front and rear. Coming over closer to the front, you can see the signature Quadrifoglio badge we'll find plastered onto the side of your Quadrifoglio models, and this is a really beautiful badge made out of metal around the sides. It's embossed with this really nice Quadrifoglio, or the 4-leaf clover right there. It looks really fantastic on the side of the Stelvio. And then once you come up to the front, then you start noticing a little bit more changes. The bumper is pretty much the same as other models, though you will notice these larger opening intakes for air coming onto the sides to help cool the brakes, to help cool the engine as well. A little bit more openings as well. Coming up to the hood, then you'll see the vented hood, which is exclusive to the Quadrifoglio model. This is going to help to extract air under the hood, as there is a lot of hot air building up under there from that 2.9 liter twin turbocharged V6 developed by, nonetheless, Ferrari. And I think the Stelvio has always been a really nice looking SUV, and this Quadrifoglio only enhances those looks and makes it even more of a performance contender. Now, you can option some more carbon fiber bits on the exterior if you wanted to, but otherwise, I think it's a very great looking SUV, understated a little bit as well, and I think this is going to age gracefully over time because Alfa Romeo's designs are very well known for that. If you want to know a little bit more about the tech, we do have folding side mirrors as well. They are coming out in all black. These can be had in carbon fiber if you want them. Blind spot monitoring sensors in there as well, and you also have full LED headlights. Really cool. This entire front beam will light up as well. You have your projector beam right there and another turn signal indicator a bit down there. No fog lights or anything like that, but I think you're more than well. You also have radar cruise control. You can see your sensor located in the lower area down there as well. So all your convenience features are found on the Quadrifoglio, but the real heart and soul of this is the driving experience and that powertrain engine. So let's take a look under the hood really quick to show you what's going on there. Okay guys, this is the heart and soul of the Stelvio Quadrifoglio, the 2.9 liter twin turbocharged V6, developed technically by Ferrari. It is a really cool engine, makes really cool sounds, and it is placed really far back in the chassis, right below, or kind of on or right behind the where the suspension bushing towers are right there, and that's going to help to improve weight balance. So pushing the engine further back is going to make that more of that 50-50 balance situation, lower the center of gravity, and make all that mass closer to the center of the vehicle to improve handling. And this engine pumps out around 505 to 510 horsepower, depending on where you see your numbers sometimes, and a heaps amount of torque as well. It is twin turbocharged, and that torque's going to come all the way low down in the rev range as well, to help get you off the line. Now, unlike the Giulia Quadrifoglio, this is powering all 4 wheels. Now, this is a heavily rear biased all-wheel drive system nonetheless, but you do get that added traction on the 2 front wheels, and that's going to improve 0 to 60 times in the 3-second range versus the low 3-second range versus the Giulia Quadrifoglio, which is a little bit slower because it's a rear-wheel drive only. Nonetheless, that one might be a little bit more fun to throw around a track. But this thing is mighty, mighty capable, and you can see those fully functional heat extraction vents on the hood right there. They are fully open, and don't ever worry about water getting in. They've sorted that problem out, so that's fine. And of course, you cannot miss the Quadrifoglio badge right on top of the engine. I can feel so much heat just radiating off this power plant just from standing here. It's kind of insane. So that's why those vents are definitely needed under the hood. And this is a really cool hood, how it kind of opens kind of flush with the body up there. Really like that. Nonetheless, let's go take a tour of the interior of the Stelvio Quadrifoglio before we go take it out on a drive, which I'm sure you all are waiting for. Okay guys, getting in and out of the Stelvio is pretty easy. You do have keyless access, and you do have the key fob right here if you need to use it. And of course, you have your controls on your key fob if you want to use those as well for your power trunk. You can auto start the engine as well from on here, and unlock the vehicle. And like I said, we have power folding mirrors on the side, so those will pop up once you get inside and start the vehicle, which is really nice. Now you can see the LED DRLs illuminated right there, which is really cool. Let's go hop in the back seats first. So of course, I did put it in my driving position, so we got a good idea of the legroom and kind of space back here. And the materials are top-notch, full leather stitching on the tops of your doors and dash. We have carbon fiber trim package on this one, and the aluminum door opening handles as well. This is all padded in like a stitched leather material, and even the plastics down here are a little bit cheaper, but it's not that bad in the rear end. The front end is a little bit more nicer. I love this little Quadrifoglio side sill and aluminum on the side. It's really nice. And just quickly looking at the seats, they are fully stitched and perforated in leather, which is really nice. So let's hop inside. Nice solid thong from the doors right there. And I'm sitting behind myself. I'm around 6 feet tall, and I can sit here perfectly fine. A lot of foot space, I've noticed, actually. Legroom is pretty decent, though you are going to find a little bit more room in some competitors. You do have a nice little cargo net back here, and a cargo net on the passenger side as well. 2 big air vents, and you do have heated rear seats as well, and 2 USB-C ports for some charging. A little bit of cubby storage over there. And you do have 2 cup holders right here. I love that Alfa Romeo right there. Everything's Alfa Romeo branded, this car. I really like that. And you also have some interior ambient lighting if it's too dark for you, but I don't think that's a problem because we have a nice big panoramic glass roof, which really helps to improve the kind of feeling of spaciousness in this cabin. So it's not too bad. We do have lock buttons on the rear door handles, no unlock buttons, and a little bit of some tweeter grills for your Harman Kardon speakers. As the speaker grills are also located down there. And you can get an optional carbon fiber, almost racing seat, so the whole back will be carbon fiber. Those are actually not powered or heated, so that's why a lot of people go with these seats, as they're pretty still well bolstered, but they add in that heating and power factor that's a little bit more luxurious to some people. And after we're done with these rear seats, we're going to take a quick look, a more deeper look at this beautiful front cabin of the Stelvio Quadrifoglio, because it is gorgeous. And just like the Giulia, it's very driver oriented, is really the main focus of these cars. So let's go take a hop up front, and we'll show you what's going on over there. Okay guys, getting in front of the Stelvio Quadrifoglio is just as easy as getting into the rear. And like I said, you have your controls for your keyless access system, so you can just put your hand back there to open it, and if you want to lock and unlock it, you press that button right there. And just like on the rear, we have the nice leather stitch upper section of your door, beautiful carbon fiber trim, and up here you do gain some power settings for your memory seats, as well as a metal Harman Kardon speaker grill, which is really nice. And looking inside, you can see those really aggressively bolstered sport seats up front, as well as the Alfa Romeo badge embossed into the upper headrest, which is nice, with this nice leather stitching going around it, which I find really fantastic. Again, the Quadrifoglio aluminum side sill, which looks really nice, and you have aluminum pedals down there as well. Let's hop inside and take a seat in these really nice bolstered sport seats. Again, nice solid thumb from the door, and look at this steering wheel. This is your business center right here. Beautiful leather wrapped steering wheel with these Alcantara inserts on the side for a little bit more grip. I think that's fantastic. I love this carbon fiber trim down here. It looks really great, especially with the Quadrifoglio badge right there. And you'll know you're driving a Quadrifoglio as the start-stop button is in this awesome red color right there. It really makes this feel super special. And you'll also find a Quadrifoglio badge right there. And that's not a sticker, and that's not just etched into it. That's an actual metal badge placed on top of the gauge cluster, and you can see it shining in the light. That's really, really cool that they did that. I love the Alfa Romeo script right there. On the dashboard, we have full carbon fiber trim over here, and that also carries down into your center console, which looks really high-end and sporty in this particular model. And again, fully leather stitched upper dash section over here with some nice exposed black stitching, which looks really cool. You have circular air vents, pretty much everything we've seen in modern Alfa Romeos. And of course, this is on their updated interior platform. So we have the little Italian flag right here, which is really nice. The updated leather wrapped gear selector as well. And we cannot forget the glorious metal paddle shifters, which sound and feel absolutely fantastic. So what do you say? Let's start this thing up and check a little bit more about this interior. To put your foot on the brake, and it all comes to life. The mirrors will unfold for you as well, which is really nice. Annoying beeping, but that will go away in a hot second. This is Alfa Romeo's 8-inch infotainment system. It's not the best thing on the planet at all. It's still a little small, a little bit laggy and slow, but if you do use Apple CarPlay, and if you just use the scroll touch wheel right here, you'll be completely fine, honestly. I wouldn't ever really have to worry about that. My favorite gauge is always the performance pages gauges, which kind of show you different performance parameters going around the interior, on the chassis. And you also have a screen for your let's see if we can find it right here. You also have a screen for your torque vectoring. So of course this has all-wheel drive, so we can kind of see the power distribution to all 4 wheels, which is really cool. I love checking out all the technical things happening in the car while I'm driving it. You can see oil pressure, boost pressure, and torque, which is really cool. It's in Newton meters, but nonetheless, I think it's really cool gauges. And then again, coming down to the center console, we have air climate controls, which are hard buttons, which are nice, and they are very premium feeling, very solid. Alfa Romeo did a really great job in the interior update. Everything is very solid, very well built. It almost feels like a BMW in here. It's like actually that well built this time around. This is all metal as well. It feels really nice. Even this doesn't feel cheap at all. And you do have your drive mode selector right here. So since this is a Quadrifoglio model, you do get adaptive suspension. So we have our kind of advanced efficiency mode, which is kind of economic mode. I call this normal mode, but it's called natural. We have dynamic, and then race mode, which shuts everything off and goes a little bit nuts. But when you are in dynamic mode, you'll see this icon will pop up, and you can put it into a softer suspension setting or the stiffer suspension setting. And when you're in race mode, you have to hold it down to get into race mode, and then you can only put it in a mid suspension setting, not the full soft, because it is in race mode. You want a little bit more of that tighter suspension setup to get you better around a track and handling around corners and stuff. But that's a really interesting little fact there. And you cannot adjust the suspension in natural or advanced efficiency mode. And you do get these really cool little graphics on the infotainment display when you are shifting through the modes, which I find really fun. And another fun fact is in dynamic and race mode, the exhaust stays open with the valves, so it's always loud and really insane sounding. Meanwhile, and natural and advanced efficiency are a little bit more subdued until you get into the higher rev range. On the steering wheel, you're also going to find your controls for your adaptive cruise control, lane keep assist, all that fun stuff. You do have your headlight controls over there. And it is funny that I always notice that these paddle shifters kind of block your hands from getting to the turning indicator stalk as well as the windshield wiper stalk, but they do take priority, and I do actually like that because they're actually quite nice to hold on to while you're driving, and they just feel so premium. You can hear the metal too when you just rub your hands against it. Oh, love that. Nonetheless, that's pretty much a whole tour of the interior of the Stelvio. Quality is good. Like I said, it wasn't too good in the past, and things have improved over time. But let's say we're going to take this thing on a drive, because I think that is what everyone's really wanting to see with the Stelvio Quadrifoglio. Okay guys, and let's take it for a drive. To put it into gear, we have an 8-speed ZF automatic gearbox here, which is very aggressive actually with the shifts, which I quite like. You can also shift manually with these aluminum pedals on the steering wheel, which are fantastic to use. And the shifts are lightning quick, which is really fantastic, even though it's not a dual clutch or anything like that. We have our drive mode selected here for dynamic, natural, and advanced efficiency. We also have a race mode, and when you're in dynamic and race mode, you can adjust the suspension settings by the push of this little button right there, which is super easy and super simple to use. And yeah, let's put it into drive. I roll down the rear window so you guys get a little bit more of that exhaust sound, because it is really incredible. And when you're in dynamic and race mode, the exhaust is always open. So let's go on a drive now. Like I said, guys, this thing is a really fun vehicle to drive, and it is a high performance dynamic SUV, of course, so you're definitely going to be expecting that. And this exhaust is really surprising to hear. And all the ZF 8-speeds have this little thing where you can kind of tune them to make them do those exhaust pops, and I think this just sounds awesome on the Stelvio Quadrifoglio, on the upshifts and the downshifts. And when you are in dynamic and race mode, it really is a true performance car in a sense where it will let you hold those revs high. And when you're in manual mode, it really does be in manual mode. It's not going to auto upshift for you on any nonsense like that. So I think that's a wonderful thing to have in the Stelvio Quadrifoglio. Of course, we have the Ferrari derived V6 under the hood, which produces over 500 horsepower and a crazy amount of torque low end, and it just sounds incredible with this exhaust system too. And oh, look at this, a little bit of a tunnel here, guys. What do you say? Do we do it? Oh, it sounds so good. You could play with this exhaust all day long. And you can see how high that thing will let you rev up to. It's really fun. Anyways, fun aside, how is the Stelvio Quadrifoglio like to drive? Well, steering is incredibly direct, and you feel like you have full control of this car. There isn't the most amount of feel, I would say, coming from those front wheels, but the steering itself is really fantastic. You have really incredible control of the entire chassis and vehicle, and it's one of those cars where you really feel like it was all engineered with sporting in mind, and everything had a true purpose of being a dynamic, kind of a true bred vehicle. I'll put it back in automatic mode. See how the shifts are in automatic mode. Those upshifts are something else too. And I have to say, I'm in the stiff suspension setting right now, and it's not stiff. We got another. That's one problem with this car, is that every time you get off a light or something, you just can't help but drive it how it's supposed to be driven. Like these cars are meant to be driven hard. You know, they like being it, and they kind of reward you in that aspect with those crazy upshifts. The speed and the sensation and feeling of this car is just incredible. Like if you're gonna spend your money on something and you want to have those incredible driving experiences every single time you head out on the roads, you got to go for an Alfa Romeo Quadrifoglio project. If you have the money to take care of it and maintain it over time too, it's definitely well worth it in the long run. These are fantastic performing vehicles, and as you can see, incredible amounts of fun to drive around and about on a daily basis. And that's being on a daily basis part, you can just pop it right back into natural or advanced efficiency mode, and it's quiet. Listen to that. All that harsh screaming exhaust just disappears into the distance, and it's really calm, quiet, and quite refined actually. The suspension isn't super harsh. It's not like killing my back or anything either, so I really do appreciate that as well. And again, you're still getting those crazy fun exhaust notes when you go higher up in the rev range as well. Nonetheless, I still really love the Alfa Romeo Stelvio Quadrifoglio, and I did already do a drive in this car. I'm basically revisiting it because I just have so much fun driving this thing. It's that entertaining. And yeah, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video, taking a full tour of the Alfa Romeo Stelvio Quadrifoglio, as well as this quick little drive. And if you can get your hands on one of these, I fully and highly recommend going out. Oh, that was scary. Always look out for bikers on your right and left, guys. if you do get a chance to go and take one of these out on a road, I highly recommend it, because it is heaps and heaps and heaps and heaps of fun, and you will never want to get out of it, unfortunately, like I do right now. Nonetheless, thank you guys for watching this video, and stay tuned for a lot more coming from Allcarnews. Cheers.